The price of gas continues to go up and up and up, and yet full-size SUVs like this 2022 Ford Expedition are still selling pretty well. In fact, most of the full-size SUVs have had updates in the last year or two, including this Expedition. It has a slightly different face, a slightly updated interior, and this new Timberline trim. So why are gas-guzzling full-size SUVs still so decently popular, and is the Expedition the one to go for? Let's go for a drive and find out. The Ford Expedition is only available with one engine, a 3.5-liter twin-turbocharged V6. But the power output of that engine varies depending on which trim level you choose of the Expedition. So it can be as little as 380 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque, all the way up to 440 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. Guess how much this Timberline trim has? Yep, it's the full bananas. 440 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque. The way that this engine produces power is just phenomenal. Torque comes in at just over 2,000 RPMs, so as soon as you just gently roll on the throttle, the big 2.5-ton SUV picks up and really goes. Thing is though, because of how high up you sit, it feels like you're not actually going that fast. 100 kilometers an hour feels more like 60 kilometers an hour. But thanks to all the power and torque of this engine, it feels like as though it's not even trying. It feels so effortless every time that you put your foot down on the accelerator pedal. Further helping this engine move this 2.5-ton boat off the line is the short gear ratios in the 10-speed automatic transmission. It's the only transmission that's available with the Expedition. The shifts are really smooth and they're decently quick. However, the transmission has some odd characteristics. So for example, if you're gentle on the accelerator pedal, then the transmission will actually skip second gear when you set off from a stop. It'll go from first to third. However, if you are a little bit more aggressive with the throttle, then the transmission will use second gear. Or if you're in tow haul mode or sport mode, it will use second gear. I'm not sure why Ford's engineers decided to program the transmission this way, but I guess at the end of the day, if it works, then so be it. You don't really feel a big jolt between first and third when it's skipping second gear, so I'm fine with it. But even with all the gear ratios and the V6 engine, you won't be driving past too many fuel pumps, especially if you stick within the city limits. This 2022 Ford Expedition Timberline is rated for 14.5 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 12.3 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. While those numbers are a little bit better than the V8 competitors, it's hard to achieve the rated city fuel economy rating. On highways, it is a bit easier. The majority of my driving was in a city environment with some highway runs, so my average fuel economy rating was 14 liters per 100 kilometers. But because of the high cost of fuel in 2022, it cost me almost $120 Canadian to put in just over half a tank. Imagine how much more a full tank would be. When you're on paved roads and you're taking this Expedition around corners, it's best to drive them a little bit more slowly. This Timberline trim has 33-inch all-terrain tires and they're great off-road, but not so good at providing grip around corners on paved roads. There's quite a lot of understeer if you really push this big SUV hard around the corners. So again, it's best to take those corners slowly and gingerly. Off the beaten path, the 33-inch tires can deal with most off-road situations. There's also a locking rear differential, 4 high and 4 low modes, skid plates and underbody protection, and trail turn assist. This feature locks the inside rear wheel while taking tight turns to better rotate the big SUV. It's the same feature that is found in the Ford Bronco. Before moving on to the comfort section of this review, I briefly want to talk a little bit about the brakes. They are strong and they will stop this big house on wheels in an emergency situation without any fuss. But when you're just driving around town like how I am right now, when you first apply your foot on the brake pedal, it feels a little bit mushy. It's only when you apply more pressure on that brake pedal does it start to firm up and give you the confidence that you want from a brake pedal. Now, I'm not saying that the brakes are bad, because they are strong and you can finesse them just a little bit, but it's just something to be aware of if you take the Expedition out for a test drive. Big SUVs like this tend to have smooth and plush rides. This 2022 Ford Expedition Timberline is no exception. Bumps are easily absorbed by the suspension, and the chunky tire sidewalls further dampen the shocks from driving over bumps. Over paved roads, the all-terrain tires induce a bit more noise into the cabin than the standard road tires. It's not too loud, but you definitely notice it. The other noise that you may notice on highways is wind noise. Again, it's not too loud, but it's there. If you need to carry a lot of people often, this is the full-size SUV to get. It is extremely spacious on the inside. Front occupants have loads of space with a tall driving position that lets you see over small CUVs. One thing that I don't like is the positioning of the side bolsters on the front seats. It feels like they dig into my back and they are not adjustable, but this could just be with my body type. The second row is available with either captain's chairs or 40-20-40 folding bench seats. Headroom and legroom is plentiful in this row, and the floor is completely flat, so those that have to sit in the middle have plenty of leg space. Also, the second row seats can recline and slide. All three positions can do it independently. Getting into the third row is simple. Pull on a lever on the top of the second row seats and the seat springs forward. The third row is of course the tightest of the bunch, but moderately tall adults will still find enough space without feeling too claustrophobic. The third row backrests can electronically be reclined for additional comfort. If you need to carry cargo often, then this may not be the best SUV for you. The Expedition only has 593 liters of space behind the third row, with the backrests upright. With the power third row seats folded, the cargo increases to 1,800 liters if the second row seats are fully forward. And finally, with the second and third rows folded, total cargo capacity is 2,962 liters, which is about 500 liters or 17.7 cubic feet less than the GMC Yukon. The 2022 Ford Expedition starts at $69,840 Canadian. This Timberline trim begins at $84,840 Canadian and can get pretty close to the six-figure mark. This demo vehicle, for example, was equipped to $95,535 Canadian. The first thing that you'll notice when you step inside the Ford Expedition is the new 15.5-inch infotainment touchscreen. This is the same one that was first seen in the Ford Mach-E. It runs on Ford's Sync 4 infotainment system, which looks a little bit different on this larger screen, but it's pretty easy to navigate around. This also supports wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto connectivity. The one thing that I don't like about this infotainment system is that it integrates the climate controls into the touchscreen. They're always going to be right here at the very bottom of the touchscreen, regardless of which menu or submenu or whatever it is you do on the infotainment system. The reason why I don't like these integrated climate controls is the fact that, for me, I find them distracting to use when I'm driving. I much prefer the tactile feel of physical buttons. The rest of the 2022 Ford Expedition Timberline comes equipped with everything a family would need in a full-size SUV. Leather upholstery, heated and ventilated front seats, heated second row seats, heated steering wheel, panoramic sunroof, power liftgate, surround view cameras, power folding third row seats, satellite navigation, wireless phone charging, and many more features that I don't want to bore you with. This is a very well-equipped SUV for the almost six-figure price tag. The Expedition Timberline is also equipped with standard Ford Co-Pilot 360, which includes everything from automatic emergency braking to lane departure warning to blind spot sensors. Optional is Co-Pilot Assist 2.0, which adds intelligent adaptive cruise control with stop-start capability, lane keeping assist, speed sign recognition, steering assistance during evasive maneuvers, intersection assistance, and navigation system with touchscreen and voice command. One feature that this Timberline doesn't have, but the Platinum trim does, is Blue Cruise. This is Ford's hands-free highway driving assist feature. Perhaps in the future, lower trims of the Expedition will also receive this system. So why are big, gas-guzzling, full-size SUVs like this still selling pretty well? Well, it's because they do everything. If you need to carry a lot of people, carry all of their cargo, you want to go off-roading, you want to take long family road trips, this is the right tool for the job. Now, is the Expedition better than something like the GMC Yukon or Chevy Tahoe? Well, compared to those two full-size SUVs, this has more passenger volume but less cargo volume. As well, this has a more powerful engine, but the other two are available with four-corner air suspension, and that is a really good system, very smooth ride. If you are interested in my GMC Yukon AT4 review, you can check it out up there. So it really comes down to what you want more. Do you want more passenger volume and a more powerful engine? Or do you want a smoother ride with more cargo volume? It's up to you. If you want to know more about this 2022 Ford Expedition Timberline, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up there again. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.